Hi everyone. So today we'll start the fourth module of our mobile computing, and today's session, in this small video we can learn the concept called mobile IP. Okay, so this is the outline. This is a snapshot of your syllabus I have taken from the KTU syllabus. You can pause this video, have a look into this, and this is the overall outline of syllabus. We have to learn two major topics. One is called mobile network layer, another one is called mobile transport layer. And today's session we are going to learn about the mobile IP, which is coming under the mobile network layer. And this is basically how the mobility is incorporated to network layer. So this topic is basically deals with how the mobility concepts incorporate with the network layer. Okay, so before getting into this topic, we will just go through the expected outcome of today's session. So after this successfully watching this small video, you guys will be able to explain the motivation behind the mobile IP and list various requirements for a mobile IP. And we will learn some new terminology associated with the mobile IP, and you can define that as well. And the last one, you can illustrate the working of a mobile IP with neat diagrams and explaining the steps as well. So before getting into this topic, it, I'm suggesting you guys go through these two videos. You can understand the concept of how internet packet routes how internet protocol routes a IP packet over the network in a traditional network layer, and you can also understand the concept of IPv4 classes as well. So let us see basically how an internet works. That means how the routing happening in the internet. So here you can see, I'll take my presenter. Is that? Yep. So here you can see there are networks called network A, B, C, D, and these are small networks, wherein you can see that one machine is belongs to network C, and will be a number of machines belongs to the network C. And from the internet perspective, there will be an entry point to the network, and from this point it's something similar to, we can call it as gateway, or in our home case it will be an access point. So whatever, so this will configure a local network with some kind of an IP address called a private IP, and the overall internet uses an IP called a public IP. So the network C is identified over, and all machines in the network C is identified over the internet based on the IP address of the agent at network C. Okay, we will understand the concept of routing with a simple example. So let's say this particular machine resides in the network C, need to send a packet to the machine existing in the network E. So this machine will generate an IP packet, and that will give to the immediate machine, that is an entry point or an access point. Here onwards I will use a new terminology called home agent. Okay, so this machine will send the packet to the home agent. The home agent will forward that packet to its immediate router. Okay, from this router it has to take a decision whether that packet has to go to R2 or R3. So that decision is taken based on the network part of IP address. From the network part, this R1 can decide and it will forward that particular packet to R2. From R2, the same problem again doubt come whether that has to packet pass to this path or this path. So again it look to the network part, and it will see that okay, this path has to be taken, and from this access point, this is the home agent for this particular machine, and the home agent will transfer the packet to this machine. So this is how very briefly an internet routing works. So the very Okay, let's see what are the motivation for a mobile IP. So mobile IP, as we discussed, it is a specialized protocol which incorporated into the network layer to enable the mobility support in the traditional ISO ISI model network layer. Okay, So it's nothing but mobile IP enables the mobility in the network layer of traditional ISO ISI model. So let's see whether the existing routing, the traditional routing which is in the stationary network, can be adapted for the mobile environment, wherein the devices are allowed to move from one network to another network without interrupting the connections. Okay, so we have seen that in a traditional network layer of ISI or SI model, the IP address are assigned to machines in a way that the IP address tells the physical location of the device in which network it is located to. So the IP address is assigned based on the network, because of the first part of the IP address is the network prefix that decide which network the device is belongs to. Okay, that is the traditional scenario. So whenever we are considering about the mobile environment, we know that the mobile environment, the machines, the devices or the nodes are allowed to move from one network to another without interrupting the connections, active connections to the device. The active connection can be sending, watching a video, or inside a call, or sending a mail, or whatever it is. So without interrupting that, the device should be allowed to move from one machine to another. Okay, so to some to a couple of very easiest solution to this problem, or some direct or naive solutions to this problem can be discussed here. So one is, without changing the IP address, we can let the device from move from one network to another. So that is, in that case, the routing table entries of all the routers across that particular IP address has to be changed in a way that if a packet comes to that particular IP address, it has to redirect to the new network, irrespective of its physical location. But that is practically infeasible, because whenever the number of mobile nodes are increases, the frequency of changing routing table entries will be very high. So that is practically infeasible solution. So second direct solution to this problem is like assigning a new IP address to the mobile node where the device is currently resides in. So that is like, if a device is moving from one network to another, the IP address will be changed and assigned with the new IP address based on the current network. The problem about this approach is like, if a source machine is continuously sending some packet to this destination mobile host, the moment it changes its IP address, the source machine can't track it. So the IP packets will be lost. The active connections will be disconnected, and it can allow with a new connection. So these two approaches have this kind of a difficulties. So the motivation for mobile IP states here that because of these difficulties, we need a specialized protocol in a way that the mobile devices are allowed to connect to a traditional ISO-ISI layer network layer. Okay, now we'll think about some couple of direct or naive solutions which we can adopt to incorporate the mobility concept in the traditional routing process. So, in the scenario wherein the mobility is incorporated in a network layer, the devices are allowed to seamlessly move from one network to another, and the ideal situation is the active connection with the device from the internet should not be break or should not be disconnected. Okay, so without interrupting the active connections, the device should be allowed to move from one network to another. That is the ideal scenario for a mobile network layer. Okay, so some of the couple of direct or naive solutions to this problem we can think here. So one of the solution is, without changing the IP address, we can let the device from move from one network to another. So problem here is that the default routing for the device will be redirected to one network, but the moment the device is resides in another network, we need to explicitly change the routing table entries every time the mobile host is moving from one node to another. So this method is practically highly infeasible, because whenever the mobile nodes are increases, the frequency in which the routing table entries has to be changed will be very high. So that is not a practical solution. So second direct solution to this problem is like, we can change the mobile IP in a way that whenever it reaches a new network, it will be assigned with a new IP address. we can use some kind of a technique called the DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol, in every network. So whenever a new device comes to that network, it can automatically assign an IP address based on the new network. So the problem here is that if any communication is currently on, any ongoing communication with the network, that will be break, because the source machine is sending a packet to the destination machine based on the IP address of the destination machine. So the moment the IP address of the destination machine is changes, the packet will be lost. So this solution is also not feasible in the case of a uh, direct solution. So what the point here is that we need a specialized protocol for incorporating mobility in the network layer. So that is the solution for this particular thing is what we are going to learn this topic called mobile IP. Okay, now let's see some of the requirement needed for a specialized protocol in the network layer. So here onwards, I'll call it as mobile IP. So the requirements for a mobile IP, first one is transparency. So transparency is a very simple concept. I will explain with a very simple example. Let's suppose a node A want to send some packets or a message to node B. The transparency implies that A can be send the packet to node B without worrying about whether the B is a stationary node or a mobile node, or a mobile node which is moving from one network to another. So without worrying all those things, the A must be allowed to send the packet to B. That is what transparency implies. So the second requirement for a mobile IP is the compatibility. So as we know that the network layer, the current network layer in the ISO SA layer has its own properties, its own protocols for sending packets and all internet control message protocol and everything. So if you are coming with a new protocol which can incorporate mobility into the network layer, it should be 100% compatible with all existing of tools such as host, OS, routers, etc. So the third point is the security. Security is a concern in any mobile network environment. So if you are coming with a new protocol, that is what, if you are coming with a mobile IP for network layer, it should not breach the networks, the security associated with the network layer. So all security features has to be incorporated as with the with our mobile IP. So the fourth one is efficiency and scalability. Efficiency implies with a very few additional message, this protocol has to be worked, because the bandwidth should not be eaten by this control message transfer. Okay, and the global support for large number of mobile system has to be there. Now we will learn some new terminologies associated with the mobile IP. So the terms are very important because while explaining the working of mobile IP, we are going to use this often. So first one is mobile node. Mobile node is a device, any device which can move from one network to another. So it can be a laptop, mobile phone, or PDA, personal digital assistants, etc. Okay, and the second one is home agent. So home agent is a router associated with the home network of mobile node. Okay, now with the help of this figure, we will understand the each terms better. So in this image, you can see there is one network called home network, and one network which is called foreign network, and there is another small network here. So this is actually an abstract view of internet. Yeah, first we'll see what is MN. MN is a device which is allowed to move from one network to another. Okay, actually this MN is belongs to this network, home network. That is why it is called home network for the MN. So there will be a router associated with this network, and that is called home agent. Okay, so likewise, whenever the mobile node is moved from this network to any other network, so that network will be known as the foreign network. So in other words, the foreign network means the network wherein the MN is currently located in. Okay, so the router associated with the foreign network is called as foreign agent. Okay, so we are assuming that there is another device which want to communicate with the MN. So that device is, we are calling it as CN. So CN can be a mobile device or it can be a static device as well. So that's why it shows like this. Cn means corresponding node. Okay. Okay, now we'll see what is the problem associated with this kind of a scenario. So whenever the Cn wants to communicate with the Mn, the Cn doesn't know where the Mn currently resides in. That means whether the Mn resides in its home network or it is in a foreign network. So only thing that Cn can do is that it can send a packet assuming that the Mn is currently residing in its home network. Okay. So likewise, it will generate the packet, and I will take the pen. Yep. Okay. It will send the packet from here to its router, and through internet it will reach the home agent of the home network. When the packet reaches the home agent, it will be so then only it will realize that the mobile node is not belongs to its home agent. So that time the packet will be lost and the connection will be interrupted. Okay, now we'll see how the mobile IP can solve this issue. So what mobile IP proposed is that the packet is initially started from the CN, and it will go to this router through the internet. It will reach the home agent. So without any specialized protocol, what will happen? The home agent will realize that the MN is not residing in the home network, so it will drop the packet. So the mobile IP proposed that whenever the packet reaches home agent, and if the packet is not, the MN is not residing in the home agent and it's currently residing in the foreign agent, it is the duty of home agent is to forward that packet to the foreign networks foreign agent, and the foreign agent will deliver the packet to MN. So this is what the mobile IP does. Okay, and this path from the home agent to the foreign agent, it's also known as a tunnel. Okay, so we can summarize this. Whenever the CN wants to send some packet to MN, the CN obviously it will send to this home network's home agent. So CN to the home agent, and the home agent will create a tunnel. It's an abstract tunnel, and it will forward the packet from home agent to the foreign agent, and the foreign agent will deliver to the MN. And if MN wants to send back some message or acknowledgement to the CN, it need not go to this tunnel, because the MN knows the source address of CN from the packet, so it can send like this. Okay, so this is how the mobile IP proposed system works. Okay, this is the figure I'm taken from your textbook. So this is exactly same as the previous figure, but it's drawing another way. So home network, home agent, CN's router, foreign network, and foreign network router. And this bold line is called as tunnel, as we discussed. So this entire process is called it's tunneling. Okay. So here we will learn one more new terminology, which we didn't discuss in the initial session. That is care of address. So care of address is an address used by the HA to forward the packet to the MN. Okay. So in other words, when the packet reaches HA, the MN will be in the foreign network. So HA has to use some home agent has to use some address to reach out MN, and that address is called care of address. Most of the cases, the care of address will be same as the address of foreign agent, but in some cases it can be directly the address of MN as well, so that we will discuss later. This figure shows the step-by-step steps to carry out the communication in a mobile IP scenario. The first one, CN will send the packet to home agent. The second one, home agent will forward the packet to FA. The third step, the foreign agent will give the packet to MN. Then the MN, if it wants to acknowledgement, it will take another path called the fourth one. So which is not through the tunnel. That is a very important point. And it will reach out the corresponding nodes router, and through from there it will reach the CN. Okay, so the mobile IP, it's very easy concept, right? So now let us see one issue here, so that you have to understand clearly, because the tunnel is created from home agent to foreign agent every time. So the whenever a packet receives at the home agent from any corresponding node, that home agent's duty is to forward the packet to corresponding foreign agent where the MN is resides in. But here the real issue is the home agent, the foreign agent can be any network, because the MN is moving, MN is allowed to move from any foreign networks, from one network to another, from there to another, etc. So the HA, the home agent must keep track of each and every foreign agent real timely when the MN is moving from one network to another. So that is a real challenge. So we will see how the HA is keeping track of the foreign agent in the next topics. Now let us see how the mobile node is getting registered with the networks. So as we know that the mobile node is moving from one network to another, every time it entered to a new network, whether it can be a foreign network or a home network, whatever it is, it has to re-register. So we will see how this registration is happening. So as we discussed, the home agent can be considered as the entity which can register the mobile node, whether it is in the home agent or it can be in any network. The home agent is the only entity which can register the device to the network. So let us consider how the registration is happening. So first of all, we'll consider a case where the mobile node is coming to the home network. So then it is very clear that the mobile node can directly communicate with the home agent and it can register itself into the network. So we'll take another scenario wherein the mobile node is moving from some network to a foreign network. So in that time, the first step, it has to register to the network. For registering that, it has to communicate with the HA. Okay. So how it can be communicated with the HA? So that we will see based on these three steps. So whenever the mobile node is entering to any foreign network, okay, so it will listen for some advertisement messages which is all frequently sent by the foreign agent. Okay, so from that advertisement message, it will get the address of foreign agent, that we can consider as the care of address for the mobile node. Okay, mobile node receives that address and it will frame a packet and send that information to its home agent through that FA. So it is like whenever a mobile enter into a foreign network, it listens for the address of the foreign agent, and it will take the address and it will send a packet to HA saying that I am now belongs to this particular network and my care of address is this. Okay, the response from the home agent will come back to the foreign agent and the foreign agent will deliver to the MN. Likewise, it can register to the network. So the steps, first one is agent addressment. So it's nothing but the mobile node is listened for the periodic addressment from the foreign agent. The second one is registration. So registration wherein the MN sends a packet to the home agent via FA by informing its care of address. That is the address of foreign agent. Okay. The third step is an optional step. So in the case of a pure mobile device, the registration to any foreign network is a temporary based. So that means even though it come to a foreign network, the communication has to happen through home agent. So the home agent will not do anything. So in first two steps, in that case, the registration will be over. And in some cases, the mobile node is permanently switching over from its home agent to the foreign agent. So in that case, the mobile node will send address. Mobile node will take that COA from the advertisement and it will do the registration message of home agent, and home agent will acknowledge the registration. The mobile node will be registered in the foreign network. In that case, the home agent will decide that okay, this node is permanently moved to a foreign network. So now I need to take my pointer. Okay, now I need to entertain further communication with through me. So it can any device can directly communicate with the foreign agent, and the communication can be bypassed without the involvement of home agent. Okay, so that case, the home agent will also advertise the COA to all the routers saying that okay, next time when you want to send a packet to this mobile node, next time when you want to reroute a packet to this mobile node, you can directly send to foreign agent. So that is how the network integration is done. So here diagrammatically shows how the network registration is happening. So there are two ways the registration can happen. So one way is like if a mobile node, that is the most popular way. The mobile node, when it comes to a foreign agent, the foreign agent will not give a permanent or a public address to the mobile node. Instead, so it will give a local address. So that means whenever a new communication is happening, the care of address should be the address of foreign agent, and the foreign agent is always there to give the packet to the mobile node. So in that case, any request from the mobile node to the outside world has to go through foreign agent, and every communication happening from outside world to the mobile node has to come through the foreign agent. So in that case, the COA, the care of address, will be the address of foreign agent. So that time the registration request has to initiate from the MN, as we discussed before. It will come to foreign agent, and foreign agent will forward to its home agent. Then home agent's response will first come to the foreign agent. It will forward to the mobile node. Likewise, the registration process will be completed. Okay. So we will see the other scenario where in some cases the foreign agent, what it will do, it will give a public IP to the mobile node. That means a publicly visible address to the mobile node. So that means any outside world can directly communicate with the MN without the involvement of foreign agent. So in that case, the MN, once it get the address of the once it get the public address, so it can directly communicate with the HA without the involvement of foreign agent, or without forwarding through the foreign agent. It can directly send a packet to home agent. That means the registration request, and the response, the registration reply will come directly from the home agent to the MN without the involvement of foreign agent. So that is also known as COA is co-located. So this way, here we can see how the tunneling is happening. Tunneling, as we discussed before, that is a path from the home agent to the foreign agent. So it uses a technique called encapsulation. In other words, encapsulation of IP packets. That means carrying IP packets as a payload for another IP packet. Okay. So this figure shows, I'll take my laser pointer. Yeah. So this figure shows how the IP encapsulation is working. So before explaining that, we will just see how the registration path, so how the tunneling is happening. First, communication happening from the CN to the router, then router to home agent to the foreign agent, then to the MN. So this is how the communication is happening. So the CN actually sending a packet with one IP address, and here it forwards the packet with another IP address. And whenever it reaches the FA, it will remove the IP address which is put by the home agent and then deliver the packet to the MN. So the entire path can be divided into two. First one is the path from CN to the home agent, then home agent to the foreign agent. The both packet has to send with a different IP address. Okay. So here the original IP and original data. This is the packet originated at the CN. Okay. So this packet will travel all the way from CN to the home agent. Whenever it reaches the home agent, it will add a new IP address, which is the IP address or care of address, or it will be same as the address of foreign agent. And the entire IP packet will be enclosed as the data part of the new IP address. Now this particular packet can travel across the network, and it will reach foreign agent. Okay. Whenever it reaches the foreign agent, what it will do, it will see the data and it will understand that this is an encapsulated packet. So it will remove the IP header at the foreign agent. The outer head will be removed. When the moment the outer head is removed, the inner head will be visible as the new IP address, and the data also will be visible. So this particular packet will be delivered to the mobile node and can read the data. So this is how the IP encapsulation works. So it is very useful in the IP tunneling phase. Now we will move to the last session, last topic of this session. So I think you guys have understood the basic concept of mobile IP very well now. So now let us see some of the drawbacks. For the first one is triangular routing. So triangular routing implies nothing but the mobile IP, as we know, that uses a path like a triangle. So that means every packet it's moving from any corresponding node to mobile node. It has to first go to home agent, then the home agent will forward it to MN through the foreign agent, and the response from the mobile node will come back directly to the sender. So obviously this will take a longer time. Okay, so possible solutions to this problem is like the whenever, so I'll just go back. Yeah, so this is the first edge, second edge, and the third edge of the triangle. So possible optimization to this problem is MN generates its first response and it received at the CN. The CN can learn the current location of MN. Okay, so next packet node once CN can directly send to the MN without the involvement of home agent. So that is a one possible optimization to this problem. But here the issue is that, as we know, the mobile registration and all the activities are all the security concerns, everything is managed at the home agent. So the moment the home agent is removed from the communication, there will be bigger security problems can arises. Then the second drawback is whenever a mobile node is moving from one foreign network to another foreign network, so that is like from a new foreign agent to, so old foreign agent to new foreign agent. So that time, is there any packet it's already on the network which is trying to reach out the MN? It will come to old FA. So whenever since the packet mobile node is already moved from the old FA to the new FA, the packet will be lost at the old FA. So possible solution to this problem is, it is the duty of new foreign agent. It has to inform its address to the old foreign agent, saying that okay, mobile node is currently resides inside, inside my network. So that helps the old foreign agent. It can receive the packets which is already on the network, and it can forward to the new foreign agent. So likewise we can solve this issue. Okay, so this is the end of the session. I think you can read further on the textbook and other materials given, and trying to find out some other videos as well. Okay, thank you.